Welcome to the Roy Morgan Weekly Update. With little change on the key weekly indicators this week, the latest Roy Morgan survey shows the ALP on 50.5%, just ahead of the Coalition on 49.5% on a two-party preferred basis. If a federal election were held now, the result would be too close to call. Either major party, the Labor Party or the Coalition, would require the support of minor parties and independents to form a minority government. The primary vote of both major parties was up this week, mainly at the expense of the Greens. So ALP primary vote increased 0.5% to 30.5%, while coalition support increased 1% to 37.5%. Support for the Greens dropped 2% to 12.5%. That's its lowest since early August, while One Nation was down 0.5% to 5.5%. The drop in support for the Greens came after Max Chandler Mather vocally supported the CFMEU at a strike demonstration and violent protests in Melbourne surrounding the Land Forces weapons exhibition. Greens Senator from New South Wales David Shoebridge spoke at the protests, which led to shocking scenes with dozens of protesters arrested for assault, obstruction or hindering, and over 24 police officers requiring medical care. This week, support for other parties increased 0.5% to 4%, and support for independents was up 0.5% to 10%. There was better news for the government on the other key indicators, with small improvements in both. Government confidence, that's whether people think the country's going in the right direction or the wrong direction, increased 1.5 points to 74, but is still clearly well below the neutral level of 100. A majority, 55% of Australians, say the country's going in the wrong direction, while only 29% say the country's heading in the right direction. And consumer confidence, the ANZ Roy Morgan Consumer Confidence was up 1.8 points to 84.1, its highest level since mid-July. However, despite this improvement, looking longer term, consumer confidence has now spent a record 85 weeks below the level of 85, indicating an economy that's still close to recession. This week, inflation expectations were up 0.2% to 4.8%. So the ANZ Roy Morgan Inflation Expectations Indicator shows Australians expect annual inflation to be 4.8% per annum over the next 2 years. However, the 4-week moving average was at 4.7%, the equal lowest it's been for nearly 3 years, since October 2021. And this week, Roy Morgan released the highly anticipated latest quarterly survey results on Australia's most trusted and distrusted brands. And for a third straight quarter, Bunnings is Australia's most trusted brand. Bunnings is followed by Aldi and Kmart in second and third place. And filling out the top 5 are Toyota in 4th position, now just ahead of Apple in 5th. The remainder of the top 10 most trusted brands, was unchanged. Now within the top 20, several brands improved their rankings. Bendigo Bank was up 2 places to the 11th most trusted brand, and Nike was up 6 places to be the 16th most trusted brand, entering the top 20 for the first time. Telecommunication company Optus is again the most distrusted brand in Australia, an unwanted distinction now held by the Singaporean-owned telco for a 4th straight quarter. Australia's national carrier Qantas has moved into 2nd place, Australia's 2nd most distrusted brand, overtaking social media giant Facebook Meta, that's now in 3rd position. The biggest loser in the latest quarterly rankings was Woolworths, which slid a massive 194 places to be the 5th most distrusted brand, just behind Coles. Coles is now the 4th most distrusted brand. For more detail on Roy Morgan's latest trust and distrust rankings and an in-depth webinar that explores Australia's energy dilemma, visit the Roy Morgan website. And that's a wrap. Thanks for your interest this week in Roy Morgan's latest results, and I'll be back next week to bring you the most up-to-date readings on consumer confidence, inflation expectations, mortgage stress, and voting intention in Australia. Thanks for listening.